parent, what do you do next? What is your role? Oh, that's going to get interesting now that you're a grandparent and you're seeing your son or your daughter uh, have a child. And that is so, so exciting. I'll never forget my first grandchild. Oh my goodness. I didn't know what to expect. Here I was, a young grandmother, and I'm like, I don't have gray hair yet. I don't know what to expect. I was still in my 40s, but I was anticipating seeing my grandchild, and I didn't know what my role was. So if you haven't seen my first video, I want you to check it out. But I'm going to talk about more of our role as a grandparent. And it's very exciting just to be able to say that you are a grandmother or a grandfather. And I think that that is something that the Lord, He blesses the latter years of our life to be able to see and be with and enjoy our grandchildren as well as our adult grandchildren. And so I think there needs to be a healthy balance in your new role now, because before, it was a different role, but now you get to see those grandchildren, play with them, and then all of a sudden you can say, okay, I'm done now. And then you can give those children back. And with me, I'm like so hands on, and I want to play with them all the time, feed them, give them bath, all those things that the parents do. And then sometimes it's really hard for me to leave. And then the grandkids are like, no, Nana, don't leave. I'm like their playmate. So I think part of being a grandparent is you get to see life all over again with those grandchildren, and all the mistakes. I gotta say it, like all the mistakes that you made, now you get to redo. There's like a redo. And probably all the grandparents are laughing because then you get to redo all of those mistakes, and it's like, wow, I'm so happy that I have grandchildren. And even though sometimes my phone is just blowing up here, even though sometimes it may feel tiring, it's so rewarding because grandchildren, they may try to wear you out. Either you're going to wear them out or they're going to wear you out. And for me, I've noticed I'm just like so hands on that I wear them out. And then we both end up taking a nap. But I think that, there's times when we, as grandparents, we want to come over all the time to be with the grandchildren's. But I think there comes a time where we have to respect the family time. And if they say, right, tonight we're going to have family time, that's okay, because that will give you time to regroup and maybe catch up on things that you need to do around the house or just rest. And that is okay. There's going to be a balance. Grandparents are entitled to their own lives. So if you are not able to babysit or spend time with the grandchild because you have other obligations, that's okay. There should be no guilt or shame in that you have prior activities or things that you are doing. That is okay. There needs to be open conversations maybe about what is expectations. How do you feel? How can I help you? Many times, the daughter-in-law or your son, they may be going through some things, and maybe you don't need to know the whole story, but you can certainly say, well, how can I help you? Is there anything that I can do for you? And I think that the open communication is so healthy. Um, And, there's going to be discipline issues. And so that needs to be an open communication. How about dietary issues? Another open conversation. Even um, thinking about if they're taking medication, what is the expectation for that? And I think that a lot of times grandparents, we think, oh, we know it all and we've been there, done that. But I think we're dealing with first time, second time parents that have, more than one child. And so I think there needs to be an expectation of let's be sensitive to their needs, to the son or the daughter, the daughter in law. Let's be so sensitive to their needs and maybe take a step back and let them learn some things, maybe by themselves. Yes, we've accumulated so much knowledge, but we don't want to intimidate them. We don't want to make them feel like they're a failure because they didn't know that. And so, walking in a level of sensitivity, and how about discernment? Walking in a place of discernment that, you know what, we've been around the block, but we're discerning. We don't want to maybe over give that information to them. Let them learn some things on their own. And sometimes that's not a bad thing. That can actually be a good thing. And I want to say bravo to all of the grandparents that are co parenting those grandchildren. And I know that that may not be easy, but I thank God for all of the grandparents that co parent, that walk alongside those parents and help out in every way possible. I think that is a good thing. Certainly be supportive of any decision that is made for the child. There are times that we may not have an input in that decision. And so, what do we do when we feel like maybe certain decisions are not something that we would make? Certainly, maybe communicate that if possible, but if not, I would highly recommend praying about it, because we've got to come to the realization that we've raised our children, and so now we are grandparents, and we have to respect those boundaries and the decisions that our son, our daughter are making with their children. And this is a different generation, so maybe they're going to do things differently than the way we did it, and so we have to respect that. I think that's good. We can definitely offer support all the time. Sometimes we need to learn to just be quiet and be gentle, be kind, offer support. Maybe not come over every single day. Maybe send a text. Say, hey, would it be okay? Are you busy? What does that look like? And I don't know, maybe they don't want their grandchild completely spoiled all the time. I don't know what that looks like for your family, but certainly ask those questions, or kind of discern where they're at. I know that, that's something that you may not want to hear, but you just never know. So each family is different. Um, let's see, where am I at? So mostly, I just want to say, I want to encourage you as a grandparent, enjoy those grandchildren. There is nothing like being a grandmother and a grandfather and being able to listen to your grandchild, play with them on the floor, give them hugs and kisses. Maybe the grandchildren are at a place where they don't feel comfortable giving hugs or kisses. That is okay. We certainly don't want to force our grandchildren in any way to give us a hug or a kiss. Maybe they don't feel comfortable. Maybe they're shy, and that is okay. Let's respect the boundaries of our grandchildren, and maybe a little bit later, they'll feel comfortable. But enjoy them, smile with them, offer support, um, build, encourage, and edify those grandchildren. Teach them something new. Be patient and kind and gentle. Oftentimes I go to the park with my daughter, Mallory, and I'll be noticing some grandkids, some of or the grandparents with their grandkids, and some of them are very good, and some of them they have little patience, and they don't talk so nice, and I don't hear gentleness or kindness. I don't hear a supportive reaction out of the grandparents, and that makes me sad, because I think, how would I want my grandchildren to view me as a grandmother? Am I mean? Am I not so nice? Am I not patient? Am I always saying, hurry up, do this, do that? And or am I kind? Am I patient? And so I think that if we could allow the Holy Spirit to release the gifts, His gifts through us to our grandchildren, even to our son, our daughter in law, the son in law. Like, if we could be patient and kind and gentle with them, how can I support you? How can I help you? And sometimes that open communication is all that they need. And I think that's a good idea, to just show love, go the extra mile. And I think that the children will love it, the daughter, the son, the in-laws, I think, or the not in-laws, but the son-in-law, the daughter-in-law, I think they will love that, when you can step back and say, you know what do you need from me? How can I be a better grandparent for you? I often ask those questions at different times. How am I doing as a grandparent? And because I think that that's a good question. And so if you feel comfortable, maybe say that to your children. I know that they will probably laugh and say, "Oh, mom, you're doing such a great job. What are you talking about?" But listen, involvement with your grandchildren as much as possible, and just making them smile. I know for me, I had a grandmother. She lived in West Virginia, and she didn't come to Indiana too often. But when she did, I always looked forward to it. And she taught me how to knit and how to sew. I would often see her play the piano, and she was a worship leader at church, and it was just a delight to see her. And I wish that she was around more often, but unfortunately she wasn't. So I enjoyed when I did get to see her. I never met my grandfather, and so I don't know what that's like. So I just want to encourage you today that grandparents, you're doing a great job. Every time that you can make a phone call, a FaceTime, even though you cannot be there physically with those grandchildren, that matters. You matter. So, Father, I just pray for all the grandparents today, no matter, even for the grandparents that may not be allowed for some reason not to see their grandchildren. I pray that you would heal the hearts of those grandparents. And for the grandparents that cannot always physically be with their grandchildren, I pray that you would help them to stay consistent with FaceTime and texting and just the phone calls, and that you will heal their hearts and let those grandchildren know that they are loved, that they are special, they are unique. I pray that you would help us to be the best grandparents that we can be, to make our grandchildren know that they are loved, they are special, they are unique, they are somebody, and that they are going to make a huge difference in this world. And I just pray a special blessing over all of the grandparents in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. So, guys, don't forget to tap that subscribe button. And I hope that you'll listen to the first video. Know that you are doing a great job. Smile today because you're making a difference. And until my next video, I want you to know that